You're not crazy for feeling like your church is busy, but not moving forward. Every pastor hits that season where ministry just feels so full, but impact feels flat. And that's not incompetence, but it could be mission drift. And today, we're going to talk about what causes it, how to stop it, and how to lead your church with more clarity and confidence. So let's start with a reality that we have all felt, but maybe we haven't named: mission drift. It happens naturally. Mission drift happens so subtly, but so naturally. I mean, nobody plans to lose focus, right? It just happens, inch by inch, decision by decision. And here's kind of a hard part of it. It often starts with something pretty good. A new ministry idea, a generous donor who also has a request for something, a staff suggestion that, at least in the moment, it just seems harmless. But soon, the church calendar is a little more full, the staff's a little more exhausted, the budget's a little stretched, more so than it was, but in all directions. Except one thing, they're not leading all to your mission. And you can really feel kind of the pressure, can't you? You're in meetings that now feel a little more disconnected. Ministries can begin competing instead of complementing. People can work even harder, but you notice they're not working as much together. When that drift takes over, your church really does shift from mission to maintenance. And none of us want that. We shift from kind of being vision-driven to people-pleasing. We drift from making disciples to managing programs. The scariest part, at least to me, is you don't even really notice this sometimes until it's already happened. Now, the good news is it's never too late to rectify it, but the longer you allow that mission to drift, the farther away it's going to go. I mean, mission drift rarely announces itself with, rebellion. It hides. It hides in all these good things, but these good things distract us from the right things. So, how do we fix it? Well, before you drift, or even if you're in a drift, there is one word that we have to focus on, and the word is alignment. I've already talked about alignment some in other episodes, but let's just focus a little bit more on this today, because it is one of the number one ailments that I see in churches: alignment. Alignment isn't sexy, but it is so powerful. In fact, it might not even feel like, there are no silver bullets to solve everything, but alignment's pretty close. It's the closest thing we may find. When your church is aligned, everything begins to point in the same direction. And when everything is pointing in the kind of same direction, momentum, it doesn't just kind of come, it actually multiplies. Sometimes it multiplies exponentially. So how do you do that? How do you create more alignment? Well, let me give you some things that I have seen great leaders do that create and protect alignment. So here's the first one. I've already talked about these a few episodes ago, but we're going to just mention them very quickly again. So one thing great leaders do that are protecting alignment, they revisit the 4 clarity anchors. Now, we've talked about these kind of 4 alignment statements before, these clarity anchors, right? Mission, vision, target, and strategy. So every decision, right, that you make as a leader should run through the lens of those 4 filters. Mission, why do we exist? Vision, where are we going? Target, who are we called to reach and develop? And then strategy, how are we going to get there? Okay, those are just the 4 kind of clarity anchors, or we can call them, these alignment statements. If a program, right, or a person doesn't align with those 4 anchors, well, it might not be that good. They may be good people, it may be a good program, but it might not be the right person or the right program for you, at least now. Maybe it was in the past, but not now. And clarity really makes this conversation so much easier, right? It gives you permission to say no without guilt. So when you have these 4 clarity anchors, these 4 statements, very well defined and well communicated, right? Revisit them frequently, personally, but especially corporately. Every staff meeting, every volunteer gathering, every time you have an opportunity with any version of an insider, talk about why we exist, where we're going, who we're called to kind of reach and develop, and how we're going to do it. Because that is going to create alignment. And it's going to keep everything from subtly drifting without you knowing. Now, number two, you also should audit your alignment all the time. So you don't just look at those four statements. Look at your church budget, look at your calendar, look at the staff roles, and then ask some kind of clarifying questions like, are we funding mission or maintenance? Are our programs producing disciples or just attendance? Are our people serving purpose or just filling slots? I mean, healthy churches, right? They don't just manage resources, they steward alignment. And everything that we have and everything that we do should be aligned. Number three, we just have to say no more often. We talked about how easy it is to say yes, especially to small things or when an important person asks us to say yes. But we have to learn to say no more often because focus, by the way, requires courage. And every yes divides your attention, right? Every no, by the way, protects your mission. So the best leaders, they're often not the busiest leaders, but they definitely are the most focused, most intentional. So remember this if you don't remember anything else, right? Mission drift happens naturally. Alignment requires intentionality. Okay, mission drift happens naturally. Alignment requires intentionality. You can't drift your way to health, right? You have to lead your way there. And that's going to take some focus. It's going to take some intentionality. Now, how can you apply this week? Like, what are some things that you can do? Let me just give you 3 very small steps that you can take that, though, could create a pretty big impact. Number 1, do a mission alignment check first. Like, pick one ministry area. It could be kids or students or worship or whatever it may be for you. And ask a few leaders in that space how their work advances the mission of the church. If they hesitate, obviously don't get upset with them, but, look in the mirror, but also clarify for them. If you find out that people aren't able to really articulate how their work is aligned to the greater mission, it just means that you've got some leadership work that you can do now. Number 2, how about if you reorder a resource maybe? What if you could just find one budget line or event that no longer aligns with your mission and shift it? Sometimes even a small change in alignment can create really visible traction. Last kind of opportunity, make focus a shared word. Like, talk about it everywhere. Print it and post it, repeat it. Maybe you could just put this somewhere, like this quote, the more aligned we are, the more effective we'll be. This idea of focusing on alignment, focusing on the mission, focusing all of our resources towards that one thing. It's focus, focus, focus. It is so powerful when we do that well. And the more people are thinking about intentional focus and alignment, the more unified everybody's going to be. So clarity, right? Clarity without alignment is kind of like vision without traction, right? Like, you know where you're going, but you'll never really get there unless everyone is pulling together. Hey, if this kind of resonates with you and you're ready to lead with more intention, a couple of very quick things. You could check out these intentional pastor roundtables that I offer, or maybe join a little more intense leadership lab and really go further faster. They're designed to help you build clarity and systems that can keep your mission on track. Just go to gavinadams.com to learn more about those.